Oh boy, Takt op.Destiny, episode 7, easily one of the craziest endings of an episode that I've seen in quite a while from this series. It ended on an absolute cliffhanger. I think the last time we've seen a cliffhanger ending was episode 2, which this episode actually mirrors in many ways. So I want to give you my thoughts and feelings about this episode, but as well, I want to ask you guys to just drop a like. I don't usually often ask at the very beginning of videos anymore, but if you could, drop a like. It really helps the video out in the algorithm and stuff, especially these Takt op.Destiny videos, because for some reason YouTube doesn't like to push them out to people for some reason. So I'm just asking on that basis alone. So let's get right into it. So in this episode, really the main point is Takt, there's something wrong with him. His eyes are sunken for most of the episode. He seems to be a little out of it. He's always tapping on the window in the car and desk in the hotel for that matter, and it's driving Anna mad. Which, by the way, Anna had some really great moments in this episode. She's honestly just an adorable character. I mean, when you think about it, it kind of sucks that she's left with, these two people that drive her crazy to where she has to go, shut up, and all this stuff. Anna's great. She's a great big sis. I love her to death. But anyways, Takt, there's something wrong with him. And it turns out that he has this idea for a song in his head that he can't get out on a piece of paper because he doesn't have an instrument to play it. What happens is Anna brings him an instrument, and it's later revealed that actually it's Destiny that borrows this instrument to give to Takt. And while the instrument isn't exactly what he needs, it's good enough for him to write the song that he wants to write. And a nice detail I like about this episode, all three of these characters are intertwined. They all help each other out in some way. And this is probably maybe analyzing too deep for most people. They probably didn't even realize this. If you think about it, Anna helped out Destiny in this moment because Destiny was the one who borrowed the instrument firstly anyways to give to Takt, which was a really nice gesture and showed Destiny's character development as she's really start to take in a liking to Takt, which is really cool. It shows that as well that as a music heart, she's starting to develop a personality and starting to get a feel for what is basically her friends at this point. And I really think that that's brilliant writing, at least character writing on this show's part. But Destiny still didn't have enough courage to knock on that door and give that instrument to Takt. So Anna helped Destiny out, and thus in the end they both helped everyone out because Takt got his instrument and was able to write the song. And if you go back for however many episodes there have been, 6 besides this one, you will see a version of that in each episode, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, it's just something to think about, but I think we should also mention just in general Destiny's character in this episode. It seems some things have rubbed off on her from at least the last episode where she's going out and helping random strangers, and this is I think something that's really cool about Destiny's character as well, because Destiny has developed this personality of helping others and making sure that others are taken care of, which is something that I don't think we saw in the beginning of the series when she initially turned into Destiny. She seemed kind of very much like a kudere, and now at this point in the series, she has really her own personality. She has her own interaction style with all of these different characters. In other words, she has really good characterizations, at least in the last couple of episodes. That is the kind of stuff that we all look for in a story, especially a story like this. And it's actually not something that I was expecting from a show like this, because usually with kudere characters, you don't have them go beyond what their archetype suggests, and that is a quiet character. And this really takes like the Rei Ayanami approach to kuderes, where she, on the outside, she still has that same emotionless exterior, but if you look at it and you see her actions and you notice and pay attention to those things, you will see that, well, Destiny actually has quite the personality despite her facial expressions not suggesting that. And even then, she has some facial expressions in this episode when she's talking to Takt where you see her react emotionally to things. And it's not the biggest emotion ever, it's not the biggest shift ever, but it's something. And that's something we usually don't see often out of Kudere characters. I feel like most anime just have the Kudere characters stay expressionless and have no character, essentially. And then because of that, you're supposed to like them. Destiny is a whole different approach, a whole different thing. Also, yeah. Oh my god. That was so cute when Destiny was giving the candy out to the kids, and she was giving also the holding out the candy to the baby and was talking to the mother like, in this sweet confection, I recommend this. That was adorable. Also, another thing you guys should know is that Anna and Destiny have changed their outfits in this episode while Takt's outfit mostly remains the same. Basically, Anna is wearing the same thing, but she's wearing a long sleeve black shirt instead of the tube top she was wearing, which by the way, I didn't even know she was wearing a tube top until last episode, which is a whole other thing. It goes to show that that jacket just covers up everything. As for Destiny, she's wearing, I don't know, this more Western style getup that she wasn't wearing in the previous episodes where she looked like she was from the 1950s or 60s. Pretty cool change, I think, especially going halfway through the series. We need a change of some kind, right? And this was a pretty good way to freshen up at least a couple of the characters. We'll see what happens if they do anything with Takt in the next couple episodes, if they change up anything with his outfit. Also, it's kind of sad. Anna seemingly has let go of the idea of Cosette being somewhere inside of Destiny at this point. And we see this when Destiny is talking to Takt about how Anna doesn't call her Cosette anymore. And that's kind of sad because in the scene before, Anna asks Takt, is Cosette, it's like, is she still in there? And this episode really, I think, starts the midway character arc for Anna, where she obviously through most of the series has still called Destiny Cosette, but she's not. Destiny is Destiny at this point, and Destiny has taken over Cosette's body, and Cosette is seemingly not in there. Now, of course, this is an anime. Cosette could still be in there. We could still get Cosette back at the end of the series, and I fully expect that to happen. But for Anna's character arc currently, it makes total sense why Anna at this point is kind of facing reality and going through the 5 stages of possibly grief. If that is the case, then this is acceptance, and she has accepted that. And I think what spurred this on really was seeing Destiny come into her own, develop her own personality, and Anna have to look at that and go, well, dang, my sister is not in there, sadly, not anymore. Then we really get to the biggest stuff of this episode. We basically have a confrontation of D2s where there's some D2s in the mountains, so Takt and Destiny go into the mountains, and there they find Schindler and Hell, Schindler's music art from a couple episodes ago, I believe. Hopefully Valkyr shows up. Oh man, Valkyr. Don't even get me started on that. But hopefully some of these music arts show up to help out Takt and Destiny, because I don't think at this stage in their journeys that Takt and Destiny are going to be able to take out one of the big bads of the series. At least not in the next episode. Maybe in the episode after or the episode after that, because as we learn at the beginning of the episode that Schindler was promoted to head commander by Sagan, which is rather funny because almost immediately in the scene after, we see him kind of get put in his place by Sagan, where Sagan is like, yeah, I don't need you. I need Takt. Takt is who I want. He's the special one, not you. And that sends Schindler into a rage to where he goes out, and it's revealed that Schindler and Hell were the ones who summoned the D2s in episode 2 that would eventually lead to Cosette's death and Destiny's birth. So in a way, Schindler, if you think about it, caused his own air quotes demise in the standing of this group. He is the one who created his destiny. If you think about it, isn't that pretty sweet? But the episode actually ends on a cliffhanger, and there is another scene that I want to call to, and what I think actually is going to happen in the next episode is I think Takt and Destiny are going to fight for a good portion of the beginning of the episode, and then they're going to be bailed out by Tataran and Lenny, because Lenny's gonna because we saw Lenny earlier in this episode. They had to go where Takt and Destiny were going, so we know they're heading in the same direction that those two are currently at. So it only makes sense for those two to bail Takt and Destiny out, because maybe Hell is too powerful of a music art, or maybe we get Valkyr again. There's so many different things that we could get in the next episode, and I'm actually pretty excited for the next episode of this series. I don't think I've really ever been excited for the next episode in Takt op.Destiny yet. Like, as excited as this, like, of course I'm excited for the next episode, but like, you know, just really hyped and really like waiting on the next episode. Haven't been that way with Takt yet, but this episode, that's the way I felt about it. I thought it was a really well executed episode. Obviously, I feel like this episode was most likely done by Madhouse. At least that's the way it looked like, because, and it's just the way it was handled. There's a lot of action in this episode, and it just didn't feel like a Mappa episode. And I think while I think Mappa's previous episode was pretty decent for what it was, I think Madhouse so far is just the better studio once again out of these two. And it makes sense why that would be as well. Mappa, they're not really managed that well. I've heard the same for Madhouse, but still at the same time, seems Mappa is in shambles, and they're just doing the slice of life episodes anyways. So it makes sense why people would be attracted to more of the Madhouse episodes, just by default. But I want to hear your thoughts, theories, and analysis on this episode, actually, and specifically what you think is going to happen in the next episode. Do you guys think that Destiny and Takt are going to take out Hel and Schindler in the next episode, or do you think my theory is more correct and that Lenny and Tataran are going to come and bail them out, or Valkyr returns? I mean, I personally would love if Valkyr returns to the series. That's my stretch goal right there. That's my stretch goal. While we wait for next week's episode, please go over and check out my Explaining Vladilina Milize 86 video that I put out last Saturday. It's a really great video. I think you all will like it. And of course, on the right is my thoughts on the previous episode of Takt op.Destiny that didn't get pushed out to sub boxes.